Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's doing good out there today, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to have a little discussion. I'm sort of going to give you my 2 cents worth on one of the oldest time, it's a superstition to some, it's like a reality to some, it's like ridiculous to some, and the whole conversation about are bananas in a bass boat bad luck? Because if you fish very long, you've heard this, and some people swear by it. Some people think it's ridiculous. So I'm going to sort of let you know what I think about that, and I'd be curious to hear from you guys too at the end of it. So, hey, before we get started, just a couple little small housekeeping tips. I just want to invite everybody to join Johnny and I this Thursday night between 6 and 9 p.m. We're having our next virtual seminar on post-spawn jig fishing. Johnny's going to do all the offshore stuff. I'm going to take all the shallow water stuff. I've been throwing a few teasers out the last week about this seminar. It's going to be a good time, 3 hours, interactive. I think there's 3 or 4 spots left open on it still, and you can sign up for that at fishthemoment.com. Got about another day left to do that. And also just wanted to remind you guys on my channel, Intuitive Angling, about the memberships I'm offering. If you guys are interested in stepping up and becoming members, getting additional commercial-free videos that aren't available to the public, access to my email address for personal questions, you can check out the member section by going to the, just click on the About tab on my YouTube channel and click on Intuitive Memberships, and you can check that out. That's much appreciated. It's a great way to support the channel. Okay, let's talk about this banana in the boat deal. I have heard so many times, so many people talking about bananas in the boat being bad luck, and I'm talking about some people are serious about it. I've seen pros over the years that they will not let anybody in the boat that has a banana, like a co-angler. Some of the guys that know these people are really sensitive about it. I've seen other pros put bananas in their boat and they get really mad about it. There was one pro I saw this year, I don't want to give any names, but a couple of years, or this has been quite a few years ago actually, but this guy was super, super paranoid about having bananas in the boat. He just felt that it was just the worst thing in the world. And a couple of pros got together and literally put a banana in every one of the storage compartments in the boat, and he didn't like that too much. He's pretty mad about it. But there's a lot of people that take it seriously, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents on it here. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I love bananas. I have them in the boat with me all the time. It doesn't have any impact on the success I have. One of my favorite things to do with bananas, I make for lunch usually when I'm fishing out on the water, I make a almond butter and grape jelly and banana sandwich. If you guys have never tried it, don't knock it. It's really good. Take some bananas, slice them up, put a little almond butter on there, a little grape jelly. It's a great energy boost, super healthy type of deal. So anyway, I have had bananas in the boat forever. I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world for anybody to think they're bad luck. But what I want to talk about is the fact that, and this is the whole topic of what the video is today, if you think it's bad luck to have if you think it's bad luck to have bananas in the boat, you're going to manifest that reality for yourself. Because one of the things that I found out about in fishing and in life in general, we create our own reality from our thoughts, and really more precise, we create our own viewpoint of reality from our thoughts. Thoughts are powerful, guys. I mean, this is one of the biggest mysteries of the universe about how, our thoughts manifest into reality. If you look around, just take the tackle world, for example. Literally everything that we have in the tackle world was initially a thought in somebody's mind. I mean, this Vatalion by Megabass, this was initially a thought, manifested in physical form. Thoughts are powerful with that. And, if you don't believe me on that, one of the things I can tell you about for sure, this will reaffirm this, is you take an angler that gets into a streak or a slump. If you're a professional angler, or if you're a competitive angler, and if you've been doing it for any time at all, you'll find out that one of the facts of life is that you're going to have slumps and streaks. You're going to have periods that you get on a roll, that you're at the right place at the right time all the time. You have a good tournament, success breeds success. And on the opposite hand, you're going to go through slumps. If you're a competitive angler, you will experience slumps. You know, to what degree those slumps are can be, varying from angler to angler. Take, for example, Jacob Wheeler, who I think is probably one of the top 2 or 3 anglers in the world, if not the top angler in the world. A slump to Jacob Wheeler is not a slump to the average bass pro out there. I mean, a slump to Jacob Wheeler would be considered, a streak to some anglers out there. So, but anyway, what I'm talking about, let's just take, for example, when you're talking about somebody that gets on a streak, one of the things that I've seen in pro fishing over and over again is if you have a good tournament, if you win a tournament or if you come close to winning a tournament, you can pretty much guarantee that that momentum of that win is going to carry you on to the next, success in your next couple tournaments. And more often than not, after a good tournament, you usually have a series of good tournaments. And I've seen the vice versa. After a bad tournament, a lot of times it throws you into some type of a slump. It can be a big slump, it can be a mini slump, but that just seems to always happen. And so what gets back to the banana thing, is that somebody that has bananas in the bass boat, if they feel that it's going to, somehow make their day go bad, they're not going to catch fish, they're going to lose fish, they're going to have a bad day, that reality can manifest for them on some level. I don't claim to understand what that is, but that is like one of the laws and the truths that I have seen within the universe that we work in. And I have seen it over and over again in life. I've seen it in fishing. Slumps and streaks are a prime example. I'll go back to the slumps and streaks again. Somebody explain it to me. If you got a better answer than I do, then I'd be glad to hear it. But if you've got an angler that gets on a roll and wins 3 or 4 tournaments in a row or whatever, places in the money in 6, 7, or 8 tournaments in a row, why is that? And why is the vice versa? I'll give you a prime example here. There was a streak in my tournament career back in 1998, I believe, where I made the money in a tournament. I cashed checks in a tournament for 11 tournaments in a row. 11 in a row. And this was in a variety of conditions all over the country. It wasn't just one area. We were literally Bassmaster, FLW Tour, all over the place, different seasons. And my confidence level was so high after making the money for 4 or 5 tournaments in a row. I just went to the next tournament and I just knew that I was going to do good. It was just a matter of how high I was going to finish, or if I didn't have a fish at noon, no big deal. I was going to have my limit by 3 o'clock. And it just went on and on. And I remember the same deal with that was there's a couple seasons out there where I went like 7 or 8 tournaments in a row without cashing a check. Almost the same thing. It's like every tournament I'd go to, I'd lose a key fish here. There'd be somebody on my water when I got there. I'd have a change in the conditions. The water would come up 3 feet overnight. It's just like constantly one thing after another. So explain to me what the deal is with that. It's almost like everybody else wasn't affected by those conditions, but it was me. It was me throwing myself into a hot streak, or me throwing myself into a slump based upon my perception of that reality. And that's the same with the banana deal. It just goes back to that. So here, and I'll go back to this one more time, and just sort of this banana conversation sort of morphs into a streaks and slump conversation because it has to do with the mental aspect of it again. But I'll give you an example of how you get out of this, or how you get into it. In that streak I was telling you about, where I went 8 or 9 tournaments in a row without a check, I was at a point in my career where it was like after 8 or 9 tournaments, you've exhausted so much of your money. I mean, it's just like it's a money pit. And not cashing a check in a tournament, this was back probably 15 years ago, but you can imagine how much money that a professional angler back then, my entire income came from my tournaments and some sponsor stuff. But I went, practically a whole season without making a check, and that's a huge financial hit. We were at Lake Norman. This was like the 10th tournament. I was getting ready to go to the 10th tournament in a row, that if I hadn't made a check in it, it would have been 10 tournaments in a row. And the first day of the tournament, we were fishing Lake Norman there. This was a March tournament, and I was throwing a little, just a small megabass jerkbait called a Margay. It's a little tiny one like that. And at Lake Norman, I don't know if you know it, but there's not a lot of big ones in Lake Norman. Like a 4-pounder is a big one on there. So I was working down this rocky bank, and I threw that Margay, and it was right off the bat in the morning. I didn't have any fish in the boat, and I hooked one, and it comes up, and it's a giant. It's like a 7-pounder. And the whole bait's out of its mouth. All I can see, there's like one hook in the roof of its mouth when it jumped. I got it on 6-pound test line. I got a 7-pound giant bass on with one hook in it, and the fish is still green. I fought this fish forever, and it's like something told me, it's like, this is the fish right here that changes it. This bass right here changes the way that your momentum, it's going to get you out of the streak. And I got that bass in, and as soon as I got that bass in, something clicked on me like that, and I just knew that that's the one that I needed to reverse that trend. I wound up finishing in the top 10 in that tournament, and then I went on after that tournament, like I said, to make the money in 8 or 9 tournaments in a row after that. That's all mental. There's nothing about that is anything other than mental. It goes back to the fact about the bananas. The people that think the bananas are bad luck, they're going to be bad luck for those people. They're going to manifest that reality because that's their viewpoint of reality. They're going to create their own reality based upon the thought that they have about the banana. So it's just, so I can go on and on again, but basically I'm trying to relate this to fishing when it's actually about life in general. I mean, as far as, how powerful our thoughts are in shaping our realities, our viewpoints of the realities, and our attitudes about everything that we're involved with. So anyway, just the 2 cents a little bit out there. Let me know what you guys think about the bananas being bad luck in a boat. But if you're like me and you think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world, it doesn't have any impact on me. I mean, my boat could be literally covered with bananas, and that would be great because I'd have plenty of bananas to eat, and somebody else freaks out if there's one in the boat. So anyway, that's today's topic, a little bit off the wall there. Thanks again for tuning in to the video, guys. Much appreciated. And we'll be back tomorrow with another one. See you.